with a new setup, trying to bypass some different stuff. And the reason for the chaos is because next week I'll be in Baltimore and I'm just going to try some new things. I'll be traveling for next week's show. I have no idea what it looks like. I'll have my team with me. We'll be in a house out in Baltimore, and maybe they'll be on the show, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Well, thanks for bearing with me. I'm a couple minutes late here today. I don't like being late, but especially when it comes to tech and loading all this stuff, it happens. Well, today is about just kind of a little bit of catch up. We are going to spend some time looking at expired domain names. So yes, we're going to be going over to expireddomains.net. We're going to be looking to find just valuable domain names that we can purchase for the purpose of development. We're going to be talking about some of the business plans that we can put on those domains. That's probably pretty familiar, right? It's pretty much what we do each week. But what we're also going to do is just here, after we get things rolling, we are going to just talk a little also about some of the domains that we've purchased. So what domains have you purchased over the last few weeks or month? What domain development project do you have going on right now that you could give us an update on? So one of the best parts of Domain to Profit is the community. It's you. It's you who come out and join me in our crazy obsession with domains and domain development. So I want to, especially if you have something going on development-wise, I want to highlight it. I want to do what I can to put a spotlight on it and talk about your project. So let me think. Okay, thinking here. So if you haven't already, say hi in the chat. Let me know you're here. Feel free to mention what domain names you've purchased, what domain names you're developing. Try to be specific in the chat. And if you're watching this on Restream, well, you should watch it live, because when you watch it live, you get the community as well. So I'm Drew Wash, domain developer, and this is Domain to Profit. See you on the other side.
From domain to profit, from domain to profit, domain to profit, from a .com to a business idea. Take a domain name, develop an income from domain to profit. We'll show you how. Domain to profit, from domain to profit. Join Drew Wash and get started right now.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that audio is working out on things. There's a chance that it's pretty quiet. I don't know. So the way I typically do things is I have cables all over the place, and I come out of my cameras into my laptop and then out to a different laptop that I can chat with you on. And today I'm trying to do that essentially wirelessly, which has some different things whopper-jawed. And in the middle of that, for whatever reason, XSplit, the software I run everything on, had an update. And I decided that it would be a great day to do that update. Not really. That was probably not the best decision. So, you live, you learn. I thought, it's like I like to think that I'm past the growing pains of things, but realistically, that's not the case. Always growing, always failing. Dominic, how's it going? Michael, I appreciate you guys coming in. Thanks for letting me know on sound as well. When I tested things out, thanks, Lee. I appreciate that as well. When I tested things out, it looked and sounded as if it was almost like better than what it was typically when I run all my cables everywhere. So, that's a test though. Just before I went live, everything crashed. My computer's overheating, and I was like, okay, it's going to be one of those days. That update was not very wise. So a couple different things. I mentioned it at the top of the show. Well, let me add this. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video and subscribe if you have not subscribed, but hopefully you're a subscriber. Next week is one of the things I want to address. We will be in Baltimore. We have a big trade show. So I've talked about this a little bit about how I enjoy trade shows, and I love being face-to-face with my customers. you can't hide when you're face to face. Internet businesses, we can hide behind a domain name, we can hide behind tech, we can hide behind email, even phone, but you can't hide when you're face to face. And what it forces you to do is have great conversations with those who pay you money. And it's a great opportunity to hear from them and just see what they think about our product, ways that we can improve, as well as a great opportunity for us with towing.com to grow our company really quickly. So they're expensive to do, but I am a big fan of trade shows. That's Toby, our mascot, the big fox head that kind of sits up on the top shelf. They're typically, he's already packed up, so he's been gone the last couple of weeks. But it's a great opportunity to use a mascot, to draw attention, to build community. All of that's going to happen over this weekend in Baltimore, Maryland, which, if by chance you're viewing this and you have an interest of swinging by, let me know. I can get you a free pass. We'll have a couple of them on hand, and we can figure out the logistics of getting you into the conference, into the exhibit space free of charge. So something we can do for you as well. But it is a great opportunity to talk to our customers. But while we're in Baltimore, we're staying over. We're going to use this opportunity to kind of get our company on the same page and start to plan both the end of this year as well as the beginning of next year. So hopefully you plan a little bit in advance for what the heck you're spending your time on. Although I get it. I'm not a planner either. But we do try to do it, especially because we have a team. We can't just fly by the seat. I can fly by the seat of my pants, but I can't have my entire company doing it. It's complete chaos when it happens. So the reason why I mentioned Baltimore so much is I have no idea what next Monday's show looks like. I may bring on my team. We may talk about domain names. I have no idea. There may be a pre-recorded show. It may be just me doing a quick normal show. So it's a mystery show. We'll find out. Although every week's a mystery show. But next week's going to be a Baltimore mystery. We'll see what happens. So bear with me with that. So let's if you have some domain names, I see Lee, Michael, Dominic, CBD Cakes. What projects do you have being developed right now? On the show over the course of the last year or so, as we've been doing Domain to Profit, we've talked about trackingprograms.com. We put a landing page up on that. It didn't gain enough traction to really push it forward too much. So to get things started, I want to show you some of the domain names that we've purchased over the last few months over on GoDaddy Auctions and through expireddomains.net. So I'm going to share out my screens, and fingers crossed, because last time I did this is when my computer, a lot of lag and stuff. So hopefully it catches up and isn't a big deal. So we'll see what happens here. Hopefully the audio goes even if the video has issues. So what you will see here with these are the domain names that I've won over the last month, and or over the last few months, actually. I really want to concentrate from the bottom up, and these are myartgalleries.com. You'll see that one on the bottom there. I got that one for $50 on a buy now. I didn't plan on necessarily buying it. I thought somebody would get it at auction. It did not sell at auction. So I went ahead and purchased myartgalleries.com. Is it a great one? Not necessarily, but for under $100, $50 for myartgalleries.com. I've been looking for an art-related domain name. No, not for NFT stuff, although there's opportunities to do stuff with NFT stuff. I like the idea of people being able to show off their artwork online, whether it's NFT or not. Anyone who has various art pieces, all they do is they're in their house, and I don't know. It just seems like a pretty interesting project to show off private collections online. Maybe not. maybe. So, but $50, it's worth it. That's one of the domain names I've purchased. Then I got that one for $50 though. Keep saying that, but that was one of the closeout domain names we found, I believe, last week when we were looking for domains that were going to be ending in the next 48 hours, less than $100 that we tried out last week. Found that one. Then a couple weeks ago was Scrumboard. Remember scrumboard.com? That came up for sale or come up for auction. And I liked it. I liked it at least enough to bid up to, I believe I had my max bid set to $1,600. And you'll see here, we ended up getting scrumboard.com for $1,274 is what that ended up going for auction. So what is a scrum board? Well, a scrum board is just a planning tool. It's a way of saying, okay, here's the different here's the different stories that we have to create. And a story in programming is just like a feature, essentially. What do we want customers to be able to do? Here's the things I'm working on. Here are things that are completed. It's just a progress of different features. And so as I was bidding on that domain name, I looked around, and there are some pretty cool little JavaScript Scrum boards that are out there that allow you to just do this on a website. And they typically do not have backends associated with them. So we'll be able to, if we want to, with that domain name, take that JavaScript, that open source JavaScript, toss it onto the front end, and then add a back end to where they can save it to a database, and they could run Scrum boards through scrumboard.com. Looks like it'll be a pretty quick, easy project, actually, if we ever do it. Not sure if we'll monetize it or if we will use it mostly for internal. Don't know. Not really sure how we'll do that. Hey, Bill, how's it going? See that Bill joining us here as well. And just a reminder, if you have a domain name you want to mention that you've purchased over the last week or so, we'd love to know what you purchased it for. If you don't tell us, I'm going to go look at it on Name Bio because I want to try to be as open as possible with everybody who watches. But then also, what are you developing? Are you working on a project on a domain name? Feel free to toss that in the chat as well. We will talk about that. I can give you advice, talk about your project or not. We can just mention it. So back to some of the domain names I've purchased over the last couple months here. Then at the end of September, you may recall equipmentfinance.com. That was one of the ones that we highlighted on the show. I liked it then. I didn't know what it would end up going for. I thought it would actually go for probably like along the lines of $10,000, $12,000. We talked about it. We also talked about how equipment finance is a great keyword. Equipment financing is the number one keyword. So equipment finance wasn't quite the peak. It's not the best possible domain, but it is really staying good. We decided to go in on that domain name. We purchased it for $7,155. So try to share that out. Hopefully it doesn't drop my connection too much. But equipmentfinance.com, $7,155 over on GoDaddy Auctions is what we purchased that one. So equipment finance specifically, we spent a decent amount on that. And I'm actually going to, while we're in Baltimore at a trade show, I'm going to talk to some different people about the domain names. There's a lot of equipment finance companies that will be there. And we're currently tying it into towing.com. So equipmentfinance.com, these different finance companies that are going to be out there, if they want to, well, they do, if they finance tow trucks and things like that, they can list there, get a benefit from towing.com, as well as this site up here, transportreviews.com, which is actually our most visited site that we own. Those are auto transport carriers and brokers, so they sell and buy big trucks as well. So some need for equipment finance there as well. So that domain name, $7,000, but we also have good channels already, good marketing channels. We have audiences already there. We have towing companies that need to finance trucks, and then we have auto transporters that need to finance trucks as well. So equipmentfinance.com, good marketing channel going there. It'll be essentially some kind of directory to where we will feature a few equipment finance companies and the kind of projects they work on. And there you go. some amount of money. Depends on how many we end up trying to go for. We'll probably get it. I'm guessing. Well, I don't know. Do you want me to guess? Guess or not guess? I think that if Baltimore goes well, I could possibly walk out of there with $1,000 a month in advertisers on the domain name. But we are going to essentially build a wait list and then build out the site real quick. So it'll probably be even a static site. So we've talked about that on Domain to Profit, where you don't even have to have the site built yet. You can do a very much an old school static site. So that's what we're talking about doing with equipment finance. But man, $7,000, we'll build it out real quick using probably leadpages.com, which just allow you to build out landers, and we'll feature some different companies, toss them in a newsletter or something, and there you go, $1,000 a month off a $7,000 domain. But that's chick. That is what, counting the chickens before they're hatched. Does that work everywhere? Or is that just here in the Midwest? The check. So yeah, we're definitely not there yet. It's made 0, and that's important to note on all these. They've made 0 so far. The last one that I will mention actually, I'll mention 2 more domain names that'll take us back to September. We purchased. Somebody mentioned. I don't even think I talked about it on Domain to Profit. A viewer mentioned and contacted me. They know we own helicopterrides.com, and they brought up elitehelicoptertours.com. That was coming up for a GoDaddy auction, expired auction. So just like the ones that we are going to look through here in a few minutes. And the domain name had a lot of search engine optimization juice, which we don't talk about search engine stuff very much. But one of the key factors with a great domain name is its ability to help you achieve good search engine rankings. In this case, with elitehelicoptertours.com, it already had some search engine juice, meaning it had previously been developed and owned by a company, and they let it go or went out of business or something. And essentially, was that you, Darcy? I see. So I'm not sure if the elbow cough here, so it might have been Darcy. I honestly can't remember who mentioned that in the show. But elitehelicoptertours.com, it was already built. So one of the things that you can do, we don't get into it much here on the show. You can take a site that's already been developed, and as long as the topic is staying similar, you can use that domain name and sometimes benefit existing or developing that domain name again. We took it and we pointed it towards, I think, Los Angeles helicopter rides, because helicopter rides is our primary domain name. We'll see. I don't know. We ended up paying, let me share this out. I'm trying not to share screens too terribly much because it does appear that there's a lag. We got elitehelicoptertours.com, $3,069, which was a significant overpay, in my opinion. I went overboard on that. So I would have much preferred to get it, because I do not deal in search engine optimized domains. I don't buy SEO domains. It's not my thing. There's a lot of people out there that do. This was one of my first plays with it. The domain is, it's a $600 domain name, right? EliteHelicopterTours.com. It's really nothing special. Mostly almost more of a brandable than anything else. Kind of like a VIP helicopter tours. I don't like the domain name all that terribly much, so you can allocate most of that money that we spent on it to supporting our other project, helicopterrides.com. We'll see. So again, it's made zero. Nobody's signed up on Helicopter Rides because of it, but we do hope that it will support that project. And those are the ones. Actually, then I'll talk one real quick. All the way back at the beginning of September, we also had this one here, which you'll see eventrides.com. Got that one as a buyout for $40. Mostly just mentioning that one because there's domains less than $100 that are expiring. So what the heck you do with eventrides.com? I don't 100% remember why we got it, but I'm sure there was some specific reason. Event ride. Oh, that was the one that for local festivals. I think I might have mentioned I used to work a fireman's festival when I was a kid, and we used to have to rent rides, various rides for the festival, and it was a really shady operation. Like you basically at that point it was almost word of mouth. You never knew these companies. You had them send you some insurance documentation to make sure they're actually allowed to operate, and you pay them money and they show up with rides. Uh, it gets a little dicey. It's a little bit of a weird. It's that carnival type thing, and my thought with eventrides.com is it can be a directory to legitimize that space a little bit in a way where you can find various event companies and give them a front door to their operations, to where maybe to remove some of that shadow, that difficulty that comes with domain names, or I'm sorry, with event rides. So, but for $40, if I ever get around to it, not bad, right? $40. So let me check out the chat here, and yes, it was Darcy that he mentioned helicopter. So he got me to spend $3,000 on elitehelicoptertours.com. But I do appreciate everybody who messages me domains and things. Typically, I try to put things on the show, but I appreciate it. I appreciate that inside information and people that help me out with. So try to see this. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm just now catching up to this chat here. So the elbow cough is a dab. So yes, I'm guessing that, as Matt is pointing out here, it is indeed a dab. I'm not. Look at me, people. I'm not that cool. What that is that dab? I don't. Yeah, my wife's laughing at me from the other room because she knows I am not cool enough to do that stuff. See here. Trying to read ahead, but Darcy's mentioning the name is okay for a small business, but not what you do with build outs, which is probably true with it. Redirecting it for the SEO juice or not. So you track the rankings of that page. We do. We have ranking tracking on everything. We just don't necessarily. I've not looked at it yet. Helicopter rides, unfortunately, it's pretty low priority right now. We have a couple paying customers that we kind of have reduced rates on, and we don't do a ton with it currently. But with tourguides.com, one of our domains, we'll dive into it as at some point. It's one of those wait and sees. And then let me see. Then usually don't do full build out content sites with names with juice like that, because it doesn't really make sense in that niche, is something that Darcy's mentioning. And yeah, helicopter rides is if I've ever told you the story behind it, essentially my daughter, when she was itty bitty, one of the few things that she just absolutely was obsessed with was helicopters and seeing them fly when we would travel to Orlando. And I was sitting at dinner one time, she's like, helicopter, helicopter. And the little kid, probably like 3-year-old, 2-year-old voice, whatever it is. And I was like, helicopter. So I started looking it up and put a standing offer on helicopterrides.com. And by that, I mean, they wanted like $20,000 for the domain name. And I offered, I believe, $8,800. So very low. I mean, they declined the offer, but I said, hey, just so you know, if you're willing to sell the domain name, you have an $8,800 offer. I'll buy it whenever you want to sell it. Something I call a standing offer. I highly recommend you do it as well, if you can. And so basically a few months later, they got back to me and said, hey, if that offer's still on the table, we'll take it. And we got the domain name, did a quick build out as part of From Thought to Profit, which was our documentary. We did sign up a few companies, did a trade show. It was good stuff. So, how about we dive into some expired domains? As you've probably seen, there is some lag whenever I share a screen. Trying to think of if there's something I can do. I'm a little nervous that if I try to mess with too much, it will. Okay. So what I just did, I tried to reduce the quality of the stream, and we'll see if that improves things when I stream out. So, oh yeah, let's go out to our buddies over at expiringdomains.net. Okay. If I'm laggy, hopefully the audio comes through, and hopefully the screen shows well enough as well. Not sure. Like I said, just before this stream, XSplit did an update, and it's not what you want to see happen right before a stream. So here we are, expireddomains.net, and this is a free tool that will allow you to browse deleted, dropping, and expiring domain names where the previous owner allows the domain name to expire. And here's what we'll do. I'm going to try to, maybe I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to hide my video. Then I'm going to I'm trying to play with something, and realistically, maybe I shouldn't. I'm not very good at obeying. I play. I shouldn't do it, but if you don't experiment, then what the heck, right? Okay, here we go. So now I can do this, and let me try this. And how do I reverse that? I'm trying to do something. I don't know if it's going to work. Of course, not going to work. Okay, well, we'll see what happens here. So essentially, I have you coming through the laptop camera. This is probably all kinds of chaos. We'll see what happens. So this is expireddomains.net. This is where we look for all the different expired domains. And we spend our time over here on I can okay, well, marketplace domains is where we're going to spend our time. So I wish I could have played with this a little bit more. Hopefully quality is working okay. Marketplace domains, and we're going to go, oh, look at that, they changed it. It's no longer GD domains, it's now GoDaddy. So they are obviously working on expireddomains.net, which is cool. So we will go over to expired domains. You see they add all these different options now. We're going to still spend our time at GoDaddy expired domains. So let me see if I can get this to. Okay, I'm just going to do it like this, and we'll just figure it out, peeps. You don't need to see me, right? I can't see you, so why? So here is the expireddomains.net tools, and we're going to set up our filters as we often do. We're going to get rid of numbers. We're going to get rid of hyphens. We are going to go with English words, 1 to 3 words, and we are going to start with .coms. Actually, we always do .coms. And we're going to set up, we're just going to look at the ones ending in the next week. We're going to start with this. We'll do at least the top page or two, and then from there, maybe we will take it and spend some time on maybe some of the ones that are going to expire over the next 2 days or so. So let's find out. Here we go. So here are the. This is so weird at this point. Okay, Music Nation. Zoom in. Hoping that the quality, I'm hoping there's not too much of a lag as we do this. Reskin. And if this is one of the first times you're joining us, you might be like, what are you ordered by? What are you showing these by? The top ones are the ones that are based on GoDaddy's valuation, which is a made-up number. It's not anything in particular. It is GoDaddy looks at past data. They look at past sales, and then the keywords that make up the domain names, and then they estimate what the valuation of that domain name would be at market. The number is completely. It just helps you order the domains. Please, if you are new to this, do not assume that means the domain name is that valuable. It's give or take $200,000 each way. Might be worth negative 200, and it could, who knows, maybe. But here we go. So we're ordered by that, and then over here you can see what the current bid is. You'll see that we have some of them that will be going by that will be worth thousands already. People bidding thousands. So Music Nation, Reskin, Rising Phoenix. I'm guessing Rising Phoenix is going to be an NFT project. Chicken Box. Debtmanagers.com. Let's go ahead and mark that one and dive into debtmanagers.com a little bit. So when it comes to debtmanagers.com, essentially what I am thinking with this is it is going to be so Debt Managers, $190 currently, 3 days, 20 hours left, so 4 days left on the domain name. Estimated appraisal is $5,700. So what I want to do here is I really don't know. Is Debt Managers any good? Is it bad? What I want to do is go over to SpyFu, and we are going to use the free account on SpyFu to search for Debt Managers. We're going to change it to where it's no longer just a domain name. It's now keywords. And we're going to search that here and get an idea of what the keywords are for Debt Managers. And as you'll see here, we are currently, that's some pretty good data. We have some, let's see here, we have 165 different keywords that are available for Debt Managers. That means that there are 165. Why that won't show at the same screen? But that is 165 different keywords related. That means you may be able to generate. There we go. Maybe I get to show up. 165 searches that you may be able to generate through the search engines. What that is telling us is there may be more people searching for this keyword, but if you were to rank well, you could generate 165 visitors per month. That's what that's saying. If you rank well, that's the big deal. Is realistically, you have to do the work to rank well first. So 165 searches, 7,142 similar keywords. So let's see if there are any. So debt management. That's certainly the better keyword for this. Debt management plan. So Debt Managers. The question is Debt Managers a good entry point? Is Debt Managers a good entry point to debt management? It looks like debt management is the more prestigious, the larger keyword. Is Debt Managers a good entry point to that? Debt management is probably more of a plan. It's more of a system, where Debt Managers are going to be somebody to help you execute that plan. Sounds like a local service. I don't really know much about it. We will go over here to, we can use these questions, which also appear here on SpyFu, even the free one. You can kind of see like how to manage debt. How does Trinity Debt Management charge a fee? I'm not even sure. I guess that's a brand. How is debt management? What is debt management? So I'm not really. So if you use debtmanagers.com and develop content that answers these questions, you could potentially pick up some additional keywords. That's what we're kind of looking at here. So 700 visitors coming in. You'll see the search volume that Google reports is 5,400. But because they send so much to advertisers, to local services, you won't be able to, get 5,400 necessarily. Instead, what you could do is, try to tell these 8 advertisers that appear down here, like, hey, you're advertising up to freaking, look at that, $11 per click. So it's kind of like you have these 8 different advertisers paying $11 or around per click. That's some competition, right? They're willing to pay good money to reach a few people. So what you can do is you can find those advertisers, find people similar to them, and be like, hey, we own debtmanagers.com and we want to list your company $50 a month or whatever it is that you want to do. And you allow them to have some kind of profile that they hopefully can customize themselves, or you can go the route of doing a static domain or static profile for them, where they essentially submit a brochure and you put it up on their page, charge a monthly fee, and it looks like you'll be able to, get a few advertisers on the domain name, a few $100. And if it is going for currently $190, so if you can get it for $600 or less, there may be some room there for you to do a simple domain development profile directory type structure on debtmanagers.com, especially if you're interested in that kind of thing. If you're interested in debt management, then maybe that's for you. I don't necessarily like. I'll probably be in. I don't know. That's one I'm off to defer to the missus. I'll talk to her and see what she thinks. I would typically probably be around a $250 bid on that one. It could possibly be worth going up to $600 for me. But for you, if you deal in debt management already, you see the keywords, see the cost per click. There's good money to be made with it if you work that system. Maybe, in fact, I'm not a big fan. I'm not going to mess with it. It's too small for what we do, but great opportunity for somebody that's just looking for a nice small domain to profit opportunity. All righty. Debtmanagers.com. Heading back out to expireddomains.net. Okay, Debt Managers, Fire Trade, the whole U. And if you see something in the list that I don't see, feel free to mention it to me. Chauffeuring? What, is that any good? There's no chance of me spelling this domain name. No chance. In fact, let's go over here. Without me looking, let's see if I can spell chauffeuring. This would be embarrassing. No, I can't do it. I can't even guess. I have no, okay, in the chat, without looking, I'm curious if anybody can spell chauffeuring without autocorrect. I can't do it. I wouldn't even, it would have been incredibly, I'm guessing my face is extremely red right now because I couldn't even, I can't spell chauffeuring is what it comes down to. But what a great keyword, though. It's a single word, has some monthly volume behind it. Nobody can spell it, so they're all going to need spell check to be able to search for it. No advertisers happening. Google's reporting there's 74,000 searches for chauffeuring. That's suspect. I'm guessing there's something happening with that. This is certainly a domain name Oh crap! Look at this. Look at this. This is freaking hilarious. Look at this number one question over here on the right. Look at that. Number one. Number two. How do you spell chauffeur? How do you spell show? Those are the top questions. So obviously, I am not alone. I'm not alone in my inability to spell chauffeuring. So, you know, my cheeks are so red because I'm laughing so much. Uh, like towing.com, single word, ing. I love it. I'd be in six figures all day, all night for that kind of domain name. But when the number one asked question around your domain name is how do you spell it, you have a struggle. There's going to be a struggle with your domain name. And because of that, this is easily going to be it's going to be like maybe a $1,000, $2,000 domain name. In fact, let's just go ahead and get the bidding started. Let's see what it's going for. It's currently at 195, ends in 2 days. I'm going to go ahead and take that up. Place first bid. I'm already outbid. There we go. Oh, it didn't have my screen shared. You missed that. Okay. So I bid it up to 888. Already outbid. There are 148 people or 148 visits to the domain. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. What in the chat, if you want to hit it up, let me know what you think that domain name is going to end up going for. I will likely go a little bit higher than that. I don't like the fact that I can't spell the domain name, but it's right in line with the domain names that I typically like, towing.com. And I love ing as a root, mostly because it does not split its value. So what the heck do I mean by splitting value? Well, when you think of, let's say the domain name, one of the most expensive domain names ever purchased, most valuable domains out there is cars.com. Well, the question is the keyword cars is super valuable. What's the value of car.com? Well, car and cars share a total amount of value, the most amount of value for the keyword or the topic of cars, and it's split between the plural and the singular. When you get into ing domains, so ending with ing, so towing, trucking, cooking, what you do is you remove the opportunity to split the value between singular and plural. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it. I'm willing to put money on it because, well, I do put money into that idea. So because chauffeuring, chauffeur's a great domain. Chauffeurs is a great domain. And because of that, the question becomes, which is better, chauffeur or chauffeurs? And you get into this battle of singular versus plural. You've probably seen the debates out on social media. I don't know what the answer is, which one's better, singular or plural. For directories, for searchable databases like we build, I like the plurals. I like to, because it just makes sense. Realistically, people are searching for multiples of it. They're looking for a towing company, but they're looking for towing companies, which we also own. I am just did a search over on NameBio. This is namebio.com. They've been doing a great job for years and years and years recording all the past domain sales. And what I did was a search for chauffeur. And I'm just kind of curious as to what has happened with other keywords around chauffeuring or chauffeur. So you'll see here, chauffeur driver, $932. Chauffeured, $1,351. Chauffeur, what the? I guess chauffeured has sold twice is what has happened here. So that right there kind of gives us a ballpark. If you use NameBio, what you can do is you can kind of say, okay, chauffeured's a pretty good keyword. Past tense is not as good of a domain name as present tense, even sometimes future tense, but it's still pretty good. So I would easily expect chauffeuring.com to go for price $1,700 or more. Would not be surprised if it goes like $3,200, $3,500. And then if it falls into that crazy world that happens sometimes where, people see a single word keyword and they lose their freaking minds. And I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't go for 20, 30, $40,000. It could happen. So so we'll see. I'm checking out chat here, and just yeah. So we have. I love all the attempts. Thank you, you bold people. We have chauffeuring. Let me go over to here. We have chauffeuring here. Thank you, Kimberly. I was that right? Let me see. No, there's a U there. See, it's like freaking impossible. It's like the most impossible thing. And Jake's like, yeah, zero chances of getting it. Uh, and spell check has made me worse, which then he brings up how important is spelling in this day and age, which is a good question. It really is. It's a good question. Uh, it still matters a whole lot, in my opinion. It matters a whole lot, mostly just from that perspective of, uh, well, if you want I believe domains, the value of them, the reason why they're just so freaking important and why I'm such an advocate for development is because they provide an alternative to Google. We don't want Google to be the source of finding anything. It's great. They provide a great service. It's good enough, but we want to be able to use domain names as an alternative to get to something directly to where we don't need Google. That's what we're after. That's what I'm after. So it matters. I want spelling to work. So yeah, Google's going to correct the spelling. You're probably going to get spell checked so many times, but for the purpose of what we try to do with domain development, it's very important, in my opinion. And the fact that it can't be spelled is one of the reasons why there's no way I won't go above $2,000 for that domain name. Even if it was spellable, then, I could see it getting 5 figures. I could see that. I love transportation domains, and it falls in that range. So, and Kimberly, I appreciate Kimberly. I don't think I've ever seen you on here, so welcome. Glad to have you here. Lots of great people in the community. Thank you for the comments and the contribution as well. So, and yes, plural for directories, 100%. If you own a single company, then yeah, maybe the singular works. Back over to the list here. 52 minutes into the show. I was a little bit delayed getting on here, so we're going to we'll go a little past 4. Let's get through this first page, and then let me know in the chat if you want me to go to bargain domains that are going to end the next 2 days. I can go look to those real quick for a few minutes, or we can just go on looking for additional domains on page 2 here, which would be the domains that GoDaddy values the highest. And there's some, if you run a blog or just kind of looking for a content type site, Traffic Sense is pretty fun. Urban Hubs, The Tariff. There's some pretty fun domain names here that are great for blogs and content related stuff, which is often the case. That's one way I think of. One way I think of brandables is if they would make a great blog. So the generics are what we typically look to develop, like Rent Busters, for example. If you have a blog that's about home ownership and you want to get people out of rentals and into home ownership, rentbusters.com, or maybe how to avoid paying the most. Good stuff with those domains. There we go. Yeah, smart TV. Like I'm kind of my daughter says that she sees me all the time on her Minecraft videos. She says that I stalk her and she sees my video. It cracks me up when she sees me on the TV. But yeah, no chat option there. Or if the chat option does exist on a smart TV, my goodness, trying to enter one character at a time with a little remote control would be a nightmare. Okay, pass program. That's probably going to be more of that sounds like an interesting domain name for And pass program. There's so many. There's a lot of flexible tech that you can build on that. I like it. I'm gonna add it to my watch list. I don't know what I like it for. Let's check SpyFu. See if anything out there is called a pass program. It's a little broad. It's generic, but look at that. Wow. Okay. 1,500 monthly searches. 5,300 similar keywords. Pass program, tutor schedule, Social Security pass program. Because that's the reason why I was interested in it, is I figured there's things called pass programs. I'm not familiar with what these are. Which keyword can you use as a pass parameter? What the freak? Oh, calling a stored procedure in SQL Server, I'm guessing. So yeah, this is a nice generic domain. Looks like it has some interest in regards to databases. Looks like it has stuff in regards to Social Security, which is the United States like retirement type backup plan. So you can do some government blog information stuff. I'm not sure what pass program tutor schedule is. I'm guessing that maybe is a brand. But you'll see here, yeah, VB command line arguments pass. So there must be some. So yeah, if you have any kind of tech, there you go. Oh, wait, Lee's chiming in on it. He's one of the developers that watches. He is saying, no, it's not sold. It's going to straight close out at $50 now. I'm not sure. Are you talking about pass program? Did you not want me to talk about, did you want me to avoid pass program, I'm guessing? Like, I could see that. Sounds like it's worth $12, but a nice niche. Wonder if SpyFu supports any value. Not 100% sure I'm following on that, Lee, but I'm guessing Lee is upset that I outed a domain name that he liked, which that's okay. I do that to myself too. I certainly have it bookmarked. I like the domain name. I just don't have anything for it. Pass program. Yeah, I got nothing. I come up with something, but feel free to, if you have an idea for developing passprogram.com, toss it in the chat. Buy advertising. Okay. Buyadvertising.com. $171, ends in 4 days. I don't know, maybe you sell CPM advertising, bulk advertising. I'm not a big fan of this kind of domain. I do love buy. If it's advertising.com, of course, you're talking about $1 million domain name. Buyadvertising.com brings it down to a specific purpose, and that is to buy advertising. So maybe you bring together ways that people can buy advertising, as far as you can use your affiliate code out to Google AdSense. There's things where you can buy those digital billboards that you see all kinds of people doing on Times Square, where you pay for a few opportunity to show your ad for a few seconds on a billboard. I believe Blip is one of the services that does that. But hey, I'm sure they have an affiliate code where you can pay and you get some kind of thing. So maybe buy advertising is a bit of an affiliate play, or maybe you want to get really ambitious and buy up some advertising and then buy it at a discount and then sell it out of the more expensive thing. Like you can even do magazine ads, buy up topical ones and things like that. So so many people are looking for ways to sell their advertising, because advertising, because of Facebook and Google and such targeted advertising, print advertising is dying. So maybe you have a solution that can bring it back. And if so, put it up on buyadvertising.com. Certainly an interesting domain name. And I guess let me just show that out real quick, just in case I didn't do it. So that's $171, ending in just around 4 days. And just for the heck, we will just search for buy advertising, just to see what happens. So 180, that's kind of what I was expecting. Best buy advertisement. So yeah, not a ton happening with it. Back over to expireddomains.net, where we'll see if we can finish up this first page. Canadian Doors. I have no idea what that is. I've heard of French doors, Canadian doors like Canadian bacon. Just get rid of the salt. It's actually ham. Kid test. Kidtest.com. Information analysis. That is the most formal sounding domain name I've heard in a while. Information analysis. You imagine going to like a trade show and you'd be like, oh, yes, I'm Drew and I own informationanalysis.com. It better be a nerd trade show because if I told people I own that at like a tow show, they would run from me. Their eyes would immediately gloss over and they'd be running. I mean, you could certainly put stuff on it. I mean, informational data analysis and things like that. I don't know if there's better domains out there or not. What was it going for? Let me pull that up real quick. $22, ends in 5 days approximately. It's so long. There's so many freaking letters in it. Luckily, you can spell it, but I'm not a big fan of it. Now, if you can get that for under $200, then yeah, I'll take it. Take informationanalysis.com for under $200. I have a feeling it's going to go for more than that. Okay, we are running low on time. I'll just take this moment to say, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video if you've liked anything we've tossed out there. And if you've not liked it, then like it anyways. Something like that. I don't know. There's some kind of brainwashing I can do, right? Brain bone. That brain, and now you see a domain name for brain. Attention, right? Password key. Huh. That's getting really techy, but you know, I use like LastPass, and there's different things that help you keep track of your passwords. And in most cases, passwords are encrypted with a key. So that's, you know, how you know that you're the only one that can actually decrypt your passwords. Maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't. You know, if you're super techie and coming up with some kind of system for handling username, passwords, and things. Sorry, I'll keep that up for a second. 6 days left, $12 currently. I'm guessing that's right up Lee's alley. It's a developer type domain name. Folding boats. Pretty niche. I feel like we have to be on page 5. Like, did they change it to where it's like infinite scroll? It doesn't go pages now? I'm guessing that's what's going on here. A bet now. Yeah. Yeah. You're not able to see my face, which is just a little bit like, eh. Couple bid. Sounds like a brand. Okay. Well, there we go. So, get to show my face again. I'll try to figure out this whole lag when I'm sharing. Is there lag? I mean, is there lag when I'm sharing the screen? I see it on my stuff, but that doesn't mean there is. So, let me see. So, Kimberly's asking about the show. It is the American Towman Exposition, I think is what it's called. American Towman. If you go to towshow.com, that's them. They have a great domain name for all their tow shows. And it's right there in the Inner Harbor. We haven't been to Baltimore in years, so I'm not sure what to expect. But American Towman Expo, and it's over the weekend, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm such a big fan. Like, I get to hang out with you right now talking about domain names, but I get text in return. So it's like, realistically, we're not hanging out together. Like it would be so nice if we can like get together in some kind of in-person domain nerd grouping. Which actually, speaking of, hopefully NamesCon comes back, and hopefully you can all join me there in person. So I thought on my screen it shows super laggy whenever I share the screen, which is why I tried to adjust so much. Hope I didn't spend too much time on it. Well, as you probably can imagine, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of great domain names out there on expireddomains.net. Where you can always check the GoDaddy auctions. There's Dropcatch. There are numerous other places you can check out these expired domains. Somebody let them go, and now they're offered up as possibly a potential domain for you. And we are always looking for getting that domain name that we can develop, share it with all the small businesses, which is exactly what we're trying to do. I'm quickly looking down the list on the next page. Fleet Tracks, a lot of brandable type domains. So Air Compass, nothing too good, nothing too bad. Okay. Well, there we go. As I mentioned, next week I will be in Baltimore for the show. I don't know what to expect. There will be a show. However, I don't know if it's going to be pre-recorded. I don't know if it's live. I love the idea of having my team who will be with me. My developers, Matt and Chaz, will be with me there as of that Monday. My wife, Crystal, will be there. Let me see, salesperson Kate, who does some sales for towing.com, will be there as well. I believe that's everybody that will be there in person, and that's my core team when it comes to towing.com. So if you have questions that you've kind of wondered, like that you would like to ask my team, maybe toss them either into chat or, toss me, tweet at me. That will help me decide, like, hey, maybe we should. If there's content that or questions we can ask that I can send to them, I'd love to bring them on and have them have a conversation with them. I just want to make sure it makes sense for domain development. So for the most part, I try to run the company in such a way that it's I'm the crazy domain guy, and everybody else, we try to concentrate and focus on the primary products. I'm going to take one more minute. So hopefully you're still with me. One of the things I did want to mention was I had talked about developing doggroomers.com and many other domain names that I've purchased over the last year. And I wanted to kind of give an update on some of those. That was part of why I wanted to talk about domain development projects. I was looking to put together something I call Internet Marketing as a Service. It's going to be a SaaS program that allows you to quickly take a domain name and turn it into a towing.com type development. And just so you know, it has officially been pushed back. Like, I've had to push it back. I thought we would get to it this fall and or winter, but for basically we had a bad month with our primary stuff with towing.com. And I don't like bad months. I'm not going to go launching into new stuff when our primary stuff did not have a growth month. So not sure necessarily. We're still debugging, trying to figure out what the heck's going on. But it made me put on the brakes. It made me think that I was possibly spending too much time outside of primary revenue generating sites. So we will get back to it. I want to do it. As you probably know from this show, my heart is 100% like I want to develop as many domains as possible. However, that entire system that we are looking to build is based on towing.com. It's based on what we've learned from our successful projects. And if we can't keep them growing month after month, then I have to make sure that we're not developing something based on something that won't be month after month. Yes, it's been around since 2007 and grown nearly every single month between now and then. We've had very few down months. It's just, I'm cautious. I don't want to oversell anybody on something when it comes time. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you get that. But we continue to buy the perfect domain names for our business model, and we have every intention of still developing them and getting tools in your hands to allow you to develop them as well. But just thought I'd give a little bit of a status update on that. Feel free to tweet at me. Let me know your questions. Let me know what domain names you've purchased, what domain names you're developing, I love to talk about them here on Domain to Profit. I appreciate you hanging out with me for a little bit. And next week we'll be in Baltimore. If by chance, like I said, if you're in Baltimore, if you're on that East Coast, want to take a train or whatever in, I'll get you a pass. Just tweet at me, make sure we set up the arrangements, because logistics, it'll be stressful and I'll be busy, but we can figure it out, get you in, see a lot of really cool. I mean, there's tow trucks there that are easily $1 million tow trucks. There's some cool stuff that happens there. So so check it out. Possibly see you in Baltimore. Otherwise, see you next week while we're live for whatever the show is next. Take care. See you later.